everybody, wanted to come out here this morning and share some information with you, some thoughts I have because of a video I've seen on YouTube. Not just one, several actually. But before I do, I need to say, I am not a doctor, I am not a medical professional, I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm going to tell you some things that worked for me and give you that information, and then you do with it as you choose. If I sound like I'm telling you what to do, I'm not. It is just what worked for me. It's my opinion, and that's all. So, with that said, I watched some videos here recently on YouTube that really ticked me off. And they were saying that fat preppers shouldn't prep. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is one of the stupidest things I've heard on YouTube. Absolutely stupid. The guys that said it not only are being ignorant, they're also just flat being mean. It's mean-hearted, mean-spirited. Prepping has nothing to do with your weight. Nothing. Prepping is putting away supplies in abundance over time of food, water, medical supplies, maybe an alternative shelter that you could take if something happens to your home, that type of thing. Okay? It's putting away, stocking up in abundance over time, but stocking up in case there's a hurricane, a flood, a tornado, I don't know, a natural disaster. Also, there is the possibility, because of the times we live in, of a financial collapse. We've heard everything, shift, without rule of law. Those things are all possible. And that's why we prep. But we don't prep because of the end of the world. We prep primarily, any decent prepper out there, is prepping because unforeseen things happen. And they want to be able to have food and water and shelter and medical supplies for their family. If you're the man of the house, that is your job, and you need to do that. Now, with that said about this clown that said not to, fat preppers shouldn't prep, I want to address that very topic and some other things. As far as fat, as far as being overweight, okay? If you're overweight, there's a reason for it. It's not always food, but most of the time it is. I realize it's not always food. However, one of the biggest problems that we have in this country is the fact that people, when they sit down to eat their meal, they load up their plate. They load it up. I've been around, we all have. Church dinners, friends' houses, my grandmother's house, you see it all the time. People really load up especially guys, really load up their plate. You need to stop doing that. Take a plate, put a normal proportion of food, something healthy, not piling it on, proportion of each thing you're going to have, okay? Have a well-balanced meal. After that plate of food, which you need to be eating slowly, not scarfing it down and then going and getting more because you're still hungry. You need to eat it slowly. Give it time to hit bottom and to register with your brain that you had a good meal and you're satisfied. When you scarf it down and then you go get seconds and you scarf those down, sometimes people go for thirds. I know some guys that actually do. When you do that, the food hasn't had time to hit your stomach. Then what happens? After you've had seconds or thirds, and we see this all the time on the holidays, oh, I'm so full, I couldn't eat another bite, I never should have ate that much, I don't want to eat anything again for a week. All these stupid, crazy people people say because they overate. And they overate because they scarfed and didn't let it hit bottom. So, take one plate of food, all right? And I would suggest laying off the desserts. Don't have dessert every night. If you're a dessert person, my grandmother has to have dessert every single night. Could never go to her house. There wasn't 2 or 3 pies and a couple different types of ice cream. Okay? Don't do dessert every night. Treat yourself to dessert one night a week. Spend your week eating properly as you should on your meals. And then on the last night of the week, or whatever night you decide, one day a week, have a dessert. A really good dessert. Don't be a pig about it, but have a dessert. The next thing I would tell you to do would be to walk. Okay? If you're overweight, like I am, you should walk. Now, with that said, I'm going to put myself out here on the line. I was 321 pounds. I've lost 40. It's pretty cool. I'm on track. I'm continuing to lose and intend to continue to lose until I get down to 220 pounds. That weight is what the doctor thinks would be perfect for me. It's what I used to weigh, and I used to feel really good when I weighed that. When I weighed that, I had a size 32 or 34 pants, waist size, and I was fit and very comfortable. My chest and stomach were flat, okay? There was nothing sticking out there. It was just straight down. I liked that. I felt better and I was more healthy. So, I have lost the 40 pounds by doing exactly what I told you guys. I don't go back for seconds. I put proper proportions on my plate. We don't eat desserts, okay? We eat healthy foods. We don't do fast food. We don't do a lot of pasta, stuff like that. We eat healthy. A lot of leafy greens when we have our vegetables and salads. We do those, not canned stuff, fresh vegetables. So, I started by doing that, and then I started walking. Now, here's my situation, what I want you guys to know. I know a lot of you are overweight, and it's hard to walk. I know there's a lot of people that are so very overweight, they're lucky to be able to walk from one room to another. That's not a put down, that's just part of life. So, if you want to get past that, do what I suggest. It's what I did for myself. Do the food thing, and then start walking, okay? If you can, just start walking around your block. Walk around your block once or twice, and do that on a regular basis until you can walk more and more and more. When you're comfortable with walking and it's not killing you, just going around your block or something, start on a more serious walk. Walk down the highway. What I've done is I'm up to basically 3 miles one way, okay? Sometimes it's just 3 miles round trip. But go out 3 miles, turn around, come back home, okay? That's 6 miles. Hey, that's great. Now, the reason I say to do that, it's going to help you with your weight considerably, and as you lose weight, you're going to feel better, and you can throw in some physical exercise with that. It's work, guys. It sucks. I totally get that. I said I was 321 pounds. I get it. So, those are my suggestions for you for losing weight. Now, tagging onto that, as far as preppers go, if you're prepping and you're not walking, and you can't walk, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 10 miles, if you can't do that, even just a reasonable route, we'll say 3 to 5 miles, you're in trouble. And I'll tell you why. Because if the crap hit the fan, if the shift situation took place, and for some reason, unforeseen, you actually really did have to bug out. I don't agree with bugging out. Not for me. It's not right for me. But if you had to bug out, are you going to be able to put your bug out bag, a 20, 30 pound pack on your back and walk? Truly, can you do that? Can you put that on your back and walk 3 to 5 miles? Can you handle that? Because if you can't, you need to. You really need to. You need to do it on a regular basis, and I'll tell you why. Because when you start walking with your bug out bag on your back, say you've never done it before, and you start doing that, you're going to find out all the spots that are uncomfortable. The straps need to be readjusted a certain way. You may have to pack the bag a different way, so something's maybe not poking in the back, or just not sits right, or it's all heavy on one side, okay? You need to walk with that pack and get it as comfortable as you possibly can, okay? Then you need to be able to walk with it until you can carry that pack, and you don't even realize it's there. It's no problem whatsoever. It really doesn't bother you, and you feel like you could walk with it forever. That's very, very important, because if you have to bug out, if you do, and something as bad has happened, and you have to hoof it, you've got to be able to carry your pack, and so does your family members. If they're not practicing with their packs on, you guys need to do that. You really, really need to do that. I'm trying to encourage you here. It's very important. Okay. Now, next thing. bugging out. I said I don't believe in bugging out. Let me clarify that. For me, bugging out is not an option. It's not really an option. Now, I have bug out bags. Every member of my family has a bug out bag. However, I live in rural America. I live in the very center of the United States in Kansas. Now, I'm from Los Angeles. And then from Los Angeles, I've lived in other places that were rural, and then I lived in Seattle. The majority of my life, I grew up and lived in Los Angeles until I was well into my 20s, okay? I know what the city's like, okay? So any of you that live in Chicago or New York or Atlanta or some big city that's watching this video, I get it. I know what the city's like. If some type of bad situation happened, I can understand you wanting to bug out and get out of that city. It could be a life-saving event. I get it. I'm all for that. I said it wasn't right for me. Living here, where I do in Kansas, geographical center of the United States, I live in a town of 92 people, okay? When people bug out, they're trying to bug out and get to a place where there's no people, or there's considerably less people, where people aren't going to be losing their mind and going crazy, right? They're trying to be safe, keep their family safe. Well, I live in a town of 92 people. It takes me an hour and a half to, actually closer, about an hour and 50 minutes to get to a city. Anything that you guys would consider a city, okay? What you guys would consider a city, it would take me about an hour and 50 minutes to get there. I live in a town of 92 people. The next closest town has a couple thousand people. That's like 17 miles away, or 8 miles away, either direction, okay? They have a couple thousand people in each of their towns, a few thousand, literally like 2 or 3. So I'm already in an extremely rural area. Bugging out for me would just be ridiculous. Where am I going to go? Everybody going to flee for the hills? Got news for you. Everybody who wants to bug out wants to flee for the hills. Flee to the mountains. Go hide in the forest somewhere. Good luck with that. You better get a plan and figure out where you're going long before you have to go there. And make sure that you can get there. What if the roads are closed? What if it's some type of financial collapse or something and the government locks down the highways? Martial law goes into effect and you can't travel. What are you going to do? You're going to put your bug out bag on your back and you're going to hoof it. And if you can't walk with that pack, you're screwed. Okay, enough of that. So, we addressed it. The weight, prepping, you prep no matter what your weight is or no matter what, you prep because you need to do that to protect your family and to provide for your family. And then hoofing your pack, humping your pack, putting it on your back and walking down the road, getting used to that. And then if you're in a rural area, I would suggest that you bug in, you hunker down, and you defend and protect your home and property. You don't just take off and go somewhere unless you absolutely have to, because everybody and their brother's going to do that. And it's going to be dangerous out there. If you live in a really rural area, you should stay where you're at. Again, that's just my opinion. I don't remember if there was anything else I had wanted to touch for a topic. I think that's it. So, yeah. So those are the things I wanted to share with you. I think it's needed to be said. If you watch YouTube videos and somebody's on there, you know, John Rambo's on there with all his tactical gear, shooting up everything in sight, and then turn around and telling you, you know, fat preppers are going to die, fat preppers shouldn't prep. Don't listen to idiots like that, because that's exactly the way they're acting, like an idiot. Don't listen to those kind of people, okay? Prepping has nothing to do with your physical weight, your physical condition, at all. Bugging out does. Being around long enough to have grandkids and watch them grow up. Your weight can be an issue. You get too big, you're just putting pressure on your heart and everything else, and it's bad for you. It's bad for your knees, it's bad for your physical health in general. So, shed the pounds. It's not easy. It takes work. And most people don't want to do the work, and that's why they get really big. I would say along with that being overweight thing, when people hit a certain weight, I don't know what that is, it's different for everybody, but when people start getting overweight and they hit a certain number, size, they get depressed. They'll never tell you they're depressed. They're depressed. And what do they do to depress? When they're depressed, what do they do to medicate that? They eat. They go to the fridge and they start picking out on something. Just they're depressed. They sit down in front of Facebook or YouTube and munch out, right? Watching the tube on TV. Don't do that stuff, okay? Don't do that. You have to take control of your destiny. You have to take control of your physical health. No one can do it for you. And to the men out there, if you're a dad, brother, I'm telling you, you need to take care of yourself. You have a wife and children to take care of. They come first, not you. You're the servant of the family. That's your role, to be a servant, to love and to cherish, protect. You serve your family. They don't serve you. You're the head of the house. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there. I'll not lecture at you. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. It's totally fine. I can handle it. If you do like it, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. And if you subscribe and you like the video, I'd appreciate it if you tell your friends about the channel. Share the videos. I'm really trying to build this channel. It's going so slow compared to what it did years ago. I used to have several thousand subscribers, several years ago when I was on YouTube. Now I'm starting all over, and oh my goodness, it's a slow start. So if you like what you see, please subscribe it, let other people know it, and share my videos. I'd really appreciate it. That's all I got. Until next video, you guys take care. Talk to you later. Bye.